Number 10. Lindsay Lohan. She was once the youngest and one of the highest paid Hollywood superstars who became a millionaire before being an adult. Fans remember Lindsay from her iconic role in Mean Girls, and she was once so successful in the industry that her net worth had skyrocketed to approximately $40 million. But today her net worth is around $800,000. So what happened? Long story short, she was living way above her means. Her extravagant spending habits reduced her net worth from millions to thousands. She was also pretty careless, and in 2006 she was reported to have misplaced one of her expensive handbags with $1 million worth of jewelry still inside the bag. She also tried to keep up with a party lifestyle and struggled with addiction from a young age. She ended up spending large amounts every week on her habit alone, which unfortunately lost her a lot of film roles as her habits started affecting her work. Unpaid taxes were another reason why she got tangled in legal issues. In 2012, Lohan owed a massive amount of around $233,000 in due taxes, and there are other forms of debt too, like a $100,000 bill for a limousine company. Number 9. 50 Cent. Not long ago, 50 Cent was one of the richest rappers in the hip-hop industry, second only to the billionaire Jay-Z. At the height of his wealth, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson was said to be worth $155 million after tax, according to Forbes' annual hip-hop's wealthiest artist list. In fact, he's been on the same list every year since its inception in 2007. But a flailing music career, several legal battles, and poor business investments plummeted his net worth by a whopping $200 million, forcing him into bankruptcy with a debt of $32.5 million. So what happened? Well, it really came down to reckless spending and the various lawsuits that he faced throughout his career, but also several of his investments went badly and lost a lot of value during the 2008 recession, and he eventually filed for bankruptcy in 2015. According to TMZ, he struck a deal to pay $23 million in debts over 5 years. The filing came several days after a court ordered him to pay $7 million to Lastonia Levinson, whose sex tape he posted online without her consent. But despite being debt-free today, it seems like 50 is still in need of cash and regularly rants about being owed money on social media. So it's possible that he never fully recovered from his financial woes. Number 8. Kim Basinger. In the 80s and 90s, with her old-school Hollywood glam, Basinger was everywhere at one point, with starring roles in movies like Batman, Never Say Never Again, and LA Confidential. But a series of terrible financial decisions left the once wealthy A-list actress practically destitute. So how exactly did such a popular and wealthy celeb end up in this dire state? Well, in 1989, Basinger paid $20 million for the town of Brazelton, Georgia. Yeah, she really bought a whole town. But it should come as little surprise that the purchase turned out to be a pretty terrible idea. Although she saw it as an investment and planned on turning the town into a tourist attraction by building a theme park, her dreams never materialized. Eventually, she sold it for a measly $1 million in 1993, making a staggering loss of $19 million. The bankruptcy was huge news at the time, and the actress also went through a messy divorce with her ex-husband Alec Baldwin, leaving her $3 million out of pocket, and she was sued by producer Carl Mazzaconi for backing out of an oral contract to star in a film. But despite being crazy broke, Basinger's finances have stayed out of the headlines for the last 15 years. Number 7. Nicolas Cage. The 58-year-old made his money by being one of Hollywood's highest earning actors and starring in iconic films like Con Air and Ghost Rider. In fact, he made $40 million in 2009 alone. But he eventually went into extreme debt after spending obscure amounts on his fortune on some insane stuff like a $67 million Tarbosaurus dinosaur skull for $300,000, or the 11th century Bavarian castle in Germany for $8 million. In 2006, he also bought a haunted house that belonged to serial killer Madame Delphine Laurie for $3.45 million. But these spending habits really caught up with him, and by the time he was 40, he was flat out broke. Cage tried to blame his money manager for sending him, quote, down a path of financial ruin. But it didn't help that in 2009, the IRS came knocking and claimed that the actor owed them $6.2 million in property taxes. But according to GQ, Cage officially finished paying off all his debts last year after signing on to star in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Although his net worth is leagues away from where it used to be, a comeback onto the big screen could change that. Number 6. Lena Headey. The actress played Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones and had a very successful career even before landing a role in the series. She was in iconic films like Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, and 300. However, her bank account was reduced to just a few dollars after her divorce, as a legal battle really took everything she had. In fact, Lena had less than $5 in her bank account when the divorce happened, and she was surviving on credit cards to pay for herself and her 2-year-old son's living expenses. After 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, she was doing well again and her net worth skyrocketed to $12 million. But it seems that the 48-year-old just cannot get out of financial trouble and is now being sued for $1.5 million by her former agency over alleged unpaid commission fees for the 2022 Marvel movie Thor: Love and Thunder. The agency alleges that Lena owes them $500,000 from her salary on the superhero flick and at least $300,000 for the mystery drama called 9 Bullets, as well as $650,000 for the Showtime series Rita. So hopefully she can get herself out of the lawsuit, but it could land the actress right back into another dire financial situation.
At number 5, we have Megan Fox. Not only did Megan Fox keep her pregnancy of her 3rd child a secret, but she also kept the father of that child a secret as well. When Megan stepped out on the red carpet to promote the film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, at that time she was currently going through a divorce with her ex-partner Brian Austin Green. After days of rumors after her child was born, the paternity test of the 3rd child would be confirmed to be her estranged husband. Now the two did reconcile at the time of her pregnancy, but then would announce their split once again in May of 2020, and then Megan would get with MGK. At number 4 today we have Grimes. Grimes surprised all of us back in April when she told Vanity Fair that she and Elon Musk welcomed a daughter back in December of 2021. The announcement came just months after the couple had split in September after being together for 3 years. Grimes revealed the child to the journalist after she heard the baby crying upstairs and asked the singer if she had another one. Grimes would then confess to the secret of her new daughter and explain that she just kept it a secret for so long due to her using a surrogate and increased levels of privacy that came with the pandemic. Grimes would then reveal the reasons her and Elon decided to enlist in the services was mainly due to her complications from her first pregnancy with X. And number 3 we have Kylie Jenner. After months of fans speculating that the star was pregnant, Kylie Jenner finally shared her news with the world, and she and Travis Scott welcomed a beautiful baby girl in February 2018. Kylie posted a message to her fans in the world revealing why she chose to keep her pregnancy a secret alongside of an 11-minute video that followed her pregnancy journey. Kylie went on to say, "My pregnancy was one I chose to do not in front of the world. I knew for myself I needed to prepare for this role of a lifetime in the most positive, stress-free, and healthy way I knew how." With no one confirming the rumors and Kylie disappearing from the public eye, this was a long overdue statement we were all waiting to come out. Kylie knew her baby would feel every time she was stressed and knew her child would feel every emotion. So she chose to keep her pregnancy a secret so she could enjoy the process and feel happy. However, Kylie's video showed us how she went through everything and kept us to date on everything we missed out on. At number 2 we have Caitlyn Brown. When country star Kane Brown and his wife Caitlyn announced the arrival of their 2nd child on New Year's Eve in 2021, many were shocked as the couple never announced the news of their pregnancy. In a video montage posted to Instagram, Caitlyn gave fans more of an intimate look at her pregnancy. The post was complete with a few pictures of her growing bump and a sweet video clip of her and Kane's older daughter rubbing Caitlyn's belly. At the start of the video, in a text, Caitlyn would write, "Yep, that's me, and you're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. The past 9 months I've been carrying something special to me. Choosing to keep my pregnancy quiet was the best decision I ever made." At number 1 today we have Eva Mendes. Just like the first time around, Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling somehow managed to keep it quiet about the fact they were expecting their 2nd child. When Eva decided to barely leave the house, Ryan was out picking up food and running errands, which probably helped the couple stay quiet so long about her pregnancy. The actress was also able to adapt at covering her bump and was even absent during the Cannes Film Festival where the couple's film Lost River premiered in May. It's clear someone needs to sign these two up for the job in the CIA because they are definitely good at keeping a secret, and so are their friends.
Number 10. Against discipline. Smith's unusual parenting style has raised eyebrows over the years, but he and his wife faced backlash in April 2013 when he revealed that they didn't believe in punishing their 2 younger children, Willow and Jaden. Will told Metro UK, quote, "We don't do punishment. The way that we deal with our kids is they are responsible for their lives. Our concept is, as young as possible, give them as much control over their lives as possible." And when talking about the concept of punishment, they believe it has too much of a negative quality. Basically, their whole parenting philosophy is that they don't believe in disciplining their kids. But criticism of their parenting style really exploded in 2014 when 13-year-old Willow was photographed in bed with a 20-year-old actor laying down right beside her. The whole thing even led to an investigation by Child Protective Services. In an interview with BBC Radio a couple of years later, after the initial drama, Will actually admitted that he and Jada may have gone a bit too far in their hands-off approach, and perhaps should have kept a tighter rein on Jaden and Willow. Regardless of whether you think the Smiths were wrong in their parenting approach or not, there's no denying that it led to two incredibly creative individuals. Number 9. Wanting multiple girlfriends. While the Smiths are no longer trying to hide how they feel about open relationships, many people have actually taken more offense to Will's misogynistic comments about women, specifically when he admitted in a 2021 GQ profile that his fantasy was to have, quote, a harem of girlfriends. He proceeded to name Halle Berry and ballet dancer Misty Copeland as two women that he would invite to be in it. Then, under the direction of an intimacy coach that he had at the time, he researched them and even made plans to contact them. Quote, the idea of traveling with 20 women that I loved and took care of and all that, it seemed like a really great idea. Obviously, he never acted on the impulse, eventually realizing that it wouldn't be fun at all in reality. He apparently came to the conclusion that it would be horrific and it would in fact make him miserable. Can't really argue with that one, but it might have been a good idea to keep that fantasy hidden. Number 8. The entanglement. Musician August Alsina brought the Smiths' relationship into the spotlight in July of 2020 when he revealed that he was romantically involved with Jada, and Will knew about it the whole time. He had even given them his blessing. Although Jada initially denied the claims, she eventually confessed to being in an entanglement with August when she and her husband were separated. Quote, we decided we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy, Smith said during an appearance on the Red Table Talk in July of 2020. They both went on the talk show together, and in a heartbreaking episode, Jada told Will how she came to be romantically involved with August, and how he made her feel special because of what they were lacking in their relationship at the time. Will took the whole thing like a champ, but the clip went viral online because he looked like he was on the verge of tears the whole time that Jada was talking. Looking back on that moment now, it almost hurts to watch. Number 7. Strange beliefs. Jaden and Willow Smith have long been open about their bizarre opinions, but all of their insane comments have mostly been swept under the rug over the years. The siblings have also come out and labeled themselves as indigo children, who are believed to possess special, unusual, and supernatural traits that was popularized in the 70s. One of the most unforgettable interviews was done by T Magazine in 2014, who felt that their sibling dynamic would make them just the right people to talk about all those classic teenage topics such as quantum physics, prana energy, and the lucid, often elusive nature of temporal interpretation. Jaden said, quote, here's the deal, school is not authentic because it ends. It's not true, it's not real. Our learning will never end. And that kids who go to normal school are so teenagery and so angsty. He went on to say that you never learn anything in school. Think about how many car accidents happen every day. Quote, driver's ed? What's up with that? I still haven't been to driver's ed because everybody I know has been in an accident, and I can't see how driver's ed is really helping them out. I mean, we could break that down even more, but I don't really see the point. It's just funny because you know he was completely serious when he said it. Number 6. Hating on Aunt Viv. One of the most controversial opinions that Will has had is that of Janet Hubert, who played Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When she left the sitcom due to creative differences in 1993, Will slammed his former co-star during a radio interview. All I can say is straight up that Janet Hubert wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show. He also said that she told him, quote, I've been in the business for 10 years and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show? Those comments marked the start of what would eventually become a 30-year feud. Janet claimed that Will spread lies about her behavior on set because he knew the audience was mostly on her side. It wasn't until the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion special in 2020 that Will even acknowledged that he had made the set difficult for Janet during the 3rd season. It was a really sad moment because she admitted that the rumors Will started had cost her everything, including her career and her reputation, saying, quote, calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death. Will only realized his mistake much too late and said that after having 3 kids, he's learned some things he did not know at the time, and he would do things differently with Janet had he gotten another chance.
At number 5 we have Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga definitely knows how to make heads turn, and before she gave us the iconic song A Poker Face and Born This Way, the singer was actually a stripper. After dropping out of NYU, she moved out of her parents' house, and to support herself, she began working as a waitress during the day and a stripper at night. Gaga turned to stripping because her personality was bold and strong, and her sense of sexuality and her love for the human body made her feel confident. Gaga has even revealed to the World's Fabulous magazine that her act was wild and she would wear black leather while dancing to rock and roll. She's also stated that she made more money stripping than she did waiting tables. Number 4 we have Javier Bardem. According to Javier, he started stripping as a joke, however he got hired to do it again. He stated that while he was performing, it was a disaster and his mother and sister were out in the crowd to support him. On Ellen, Javier would say that he was 20 at the time, and after he got hired to perform, he was so nervous that he called up his mom and sister to accompany him to the club. When it was time for Javier to perform, he stated that there was only 3 people in the club. He was embarrassed, however, since he was a performer and he gave his word to do the show, he ultimately decided to do the show and became a stripper for the day. At number 3 we have Amber Rose. While some celebrities decide to brush their past right under the carpet, Amber Rose has always chosen to speak her mind away about them. One career Amber has always been very vocal about is the fact that she used to be a stripper. In an interview, she even claimed that she had some of her best times in her life while she was an exotic dancer, and she's even given some words of wisdom for anybody looking to join the field. The multi-talented singer has suggested that as long as anybody's looking to get into the field goes in with their heads up, stays sober, and focuses on making money, then the job will be like any other. She's also advised that anybody who's comfortable with their body should give it a try right away. After stripping, Amber would then move on to modeling and then to acting. At number 2 we have Trina. American singer Trina never wanted to do anything with music. So after high school, she wanted to pursue a career in real estate. However, when she accompanied her friends to shoot a music video, another musician noticed her and asked her if she ever wanted to give music a try. Trina would initially decline, however, she would later agree, and the rest is history. Now, before Trina became a musician, she has admitted that she tried dancing for money, but quickly realized it was never for her. Her career barely lasted a week before she decided to officially opt out. And at number 1 today, we have Kat Stacks. After being born in Venezuela, Kat Stacks would relocate to the United States when she was just 8 years old. She would then grow into the sensational rapper and hip-hop musician she is today. Apart from her music career, Kat has had a pretty controversial lifestyle, and she's even tried her hand at exotic dancing. In an interview with 97.9 FM radio, Kat revealed that she was a stripper at the age of 4, and she recounts her time in her as a stripper as traumatizing, and that she just did whatever she could to get by. Since entering into the industry, the rapper has never been short to surprise the world with scandals and controversies.
Number 10, Tom Hiddleston and Taylor Swift. If you've ever dated Taylor Swift, then there's a very good chance she's written a song about you. Swift has been basing her lyrical masterpieces around past relationships for a majority of her career. Splitting up with someone is never easy, but whenever this happens to Taylor, it gives her a chance to pump out another top charting track that is sure to keep us dancing the night away. This was unfortunate for Tom Hiddleston though, best known for his role as Loki in the Marvel Universe, briefly dating the singer in 2016, even briefly being dubbed Hiddle Swift by fans. That's so cute. The couple was together for a grand total of 3 months, but during that time were very public about their activities, almost trying to sell us on the idea that they were just so happy together. The timing of this was just a little too suspicious, as Hiddleston had just begun production on Thor Ragnarok, and Swift was working on her then unreleased album Reputation. The two seemed to be using the relationship's strong media attention to their advantage, with past album sales growing up to the point of Reputation's release for Swift, and buzz surrounding Ragnarok was in full swing till its premiere the following year, eventually becoming one of the highest grossing Marvel movies of all time. Yeah, sus guys. Number 9, Jennifer Lopez and Drake. It all started back in 2013 when Jennifer Lopez made a jaw-dropping entrance at the Grammy Awards. She walked out in a stunning off-the-shoulder black gown dress, and Drake's jaw dropped. The moment became a viral GIF, which certainly caught the attention of J-Lo, because over the next couple of years, Drake was spotted, popping up at a number of Lopez's All I Have concerts in Las Vegas, Nevada. In one instance, Drake posted a photo of himself holding J-Lo's diamond-encrusted hat while she slayed it on stage. Soon after, rumors began flying that the two had secretly been together for quite some time, with some photos suggesting that they were spending a lot of their quality time together. With no warning, Drake posted a photo of himself and Jen cozying up together, seemingly confirming the relationship. But many people were suspicious of the true nature of their relationship, including pop singer Rihanna, who unfollowed Lopez on social media following their announcement. The relationship eventually fizzled out at an unspecified amount of time later, and the two never spoke about it again. But these two getting together created such a buzz on social media that their followers grew by thousands, which was probably the real reason these two went public in the first place. Number 8. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. His skin was pale and his cold, and that's how Kristen seems to like him. The late 2000s were dominated by the Twilight series, films centered around Bella, a new girl who just moved from sunny Arizona to rainy Washington State, and Edward, a handsome but mysterious teen who, spoiler alert, he's a freaking vampire. Stewart and Pattinson played the characters over the course of 5 films, and the chemistry was very apparent, so much so that they decided to move that chemistry off the screen. Over the course of the 5 films, the pair would get together and split over and over, claiming the time and time again that they simply just needed a break from each other. Now, we didn't buy this for a second, as their reunions always seemed to take place on set, filming the next movie, or just coinciding with the time of the red carpet events. It was just very clear that it was a Hollywood PR person forcing these two to continue pursuing something that may have once existed, but had most certainly been drained of its blood. Number 7. Steve-O and Nicole Richie. Steve-O, the stuntman, is known for doing some wild things. He's been blown up, shot out of speeding shopping carts, and he's even kicked a shark one time because it was about to bite his foot off. But the wildest thing he's ever done of all? He settled down. In 2006, himself and reality TV star Nicole Richie had been spotted spending a lot of their free time together at restaurants and parties and concerts. At the time, Richie's show The Simple Life, which was a reality show starring herself and Paris Hilton, was in its last season, and Steve-O was riding the wave of success following the recent release of a sequel to a movie whose title could get us demonetized. So it makes sense that Nicole would plot a publicity stunt to draw attention to herself and to attempt to keep a hold of her show. This did not work, as the show remained cancelled and the pair called it quits only a few months after they had gotten together. Steve-O has since moved on and is now engaged to his girlfriend, Lux Wright. Yeah, dude! Number 6. Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. The Breakup is a 2005 romantic dramedy starring Aniston and Vaughn as a couple who are stuck living together following a nasty split that leaves them fighting for custody of their apartment. This sounds like a cute movie. You know what's even cuter? The pair became a couple in real life. They were regularly seen off set having dinner and snuggling up together, sparking news of another screen couple turned true lovers. Well, in 2006, that news shifted to accuracy of film title astonishes all, as the couple mutually called it quits, agreeing that the relationship had run its course. Convenient timing, considering for months before their film premiere, the couple was creating buzz online, getting people excited to see the real-life couple acting together on the big screen. But despite the attempt, the film received poor reviews and the PR play had seemingly proved useless. Now, while this may have been a stunt, the two recount sharing a wonderful time together, with Aniston even saying that Vaughn was the defibrillator she needed after a rough divorce from Brad Pitt. I don't know why that's a good thing. That sounds very painful.
Halfway through the list at number 5 is Buckethead, another musician that covers his face with a mask, but this one isn't anything fancy like the other ones on our list. The famous guitarist is known for being tall, mysterious, and silent. His real name is Brian Carroll, but got the name Buckethead when he decided to go on stage wearing a white mask and an empty KFC chicken bucket on his head. He painted the bucket and slapped on an orange funeral procession bumper sticker. He tells fans his original story as to why he came up with the mask and says that he was raised by chickens and that they scratched his face off. Clearly he likes to just keep everything a mystery. MTV News once asked him about the mask and he simply replied with, "There is no mask." The internet is full of fake photos that pretend to reveal his face, for money and attention of course, but no one has actually seen him without a mask. Here we are at number 4 with the Blue Man Group. The name makes sense the second you see what they look like. They are literally a group of painted blue men. The group is a performance art company known for its unique stage productions, which mixes music, art, digital effects, and dance. It was first created back in 1988 and was an experiment for theater, but since then has expanded to several cities and gone on multiple world tours. Originally, the group was created by 3 men, Chris Swink, Matt Goldman, and Phil Stanton. But now, according to Inc., there are about 70 Blue Men on their payroll system. These silent performers all look the exact same, so you can never tell them apart while they are performing, even if you knew who they were. Once they are done their performance, they just wipe off their paint and join society like their regular selves. If you think about it, someone in your own town could be a member of the Blue Man Group, and maybe you just don't even know it. Alright guys, at number 3 is Pussy Riot. The Russian punk rock group is known for its controversial lyrics, but also for their erratic actions. The group is made up of women who often stand up for their rights and protest for the change they wish to see. In August of 2011, it was confirmed that the group had approximately 11 women ranging from the ages 20 to 33. You will always find them wearing rainbow-colored ski masks to hide their identities because they want to avoid fines and even possible jail time. The group, which is known for protesting against Russia's leader Vladimir Putin, stormed the soccer field at the World Cup last year in 2018. This isn't the only protest scandal the group has been involved in either. In 2012, 2 of the group's members found themselves spending 2 years in prison. So although it would just be easier to not do illegal things and just show your faces, they choose to wear these ski masks to avoid getting caught or recognized for their music or bad behavior, and they said that they will continue to hide their faces at all costs. And at number 2 is Marshmello, the music producer and DJ who always walks around with a giant smiling marshmallow mask on. Another interesting choice when it comes to picking your identification mask. The talented artist launched into the music scene and pretty much became an overnight sensation. With his giant marshmallow mask, he gained an incredible amount of fame very quickly. Like others on this list, he created a mystery about his real identity, which just made his audience want to get to know him even more. It has been an ongoing joke in the industry of other artists grabbing the media's attention just to reveal themselves as the real Marshmello. Over the years, there have been multiple fake reveals. Once he was revealed to be Will Ferrell, and another time Shawn Mendes. The DJ, who has a net worth of $21 million, was finally identified as Chris Comstock. Social media detectives and EDM fans have figured out that Chris Comstock is also .com, a music producer registered on the same management roster as Marshmello. Forbes confirmed and reported that they are in fact the same person. Marshmello has since gone on like he always does, wearing his big white mask and pretending that no one knows who he really is, which we might not, maybe we have it all wrong. He hasn't taken the mask off, and when he is asked if he ever will, he tweeted out, "I don't take my helmet off because I don't want or need fame. I'm genuinely trying to create something positive for people to connect with." Oh come on Chris, just take the mask off already. Taking our number 1 spot is Banksy. Banksy is one of the world's most controversial street artists for his unique graffiti that has turned the world upside down. Some of his works have been removed from public spaces and sold for millions at auctions around the globe. But he's also known for being the invisible man of the graffiti world. That is right, he has been in the graffiti scene for over 20 years but somehow remains unknown. There have been many attempts to unmask him, but it seems like everyone's efforts have just failed. There is still no definite confirmation on the artist's real name. People are also wondering why he doesn't want to reveal himself, and people think the most logical reason would be to avoid prosecution. Let's not forget that graffiti is vandalism, so creating street art is a risky business. His work is technically illegal, so he would be punished just like anyone else would. As of right now, the world has their eye on a guy named Robin Gunningham. A picture of him surfaced with graffiti supplies that look similar to his Boy of a Life buoy art. However, the picture is a man out in the open with all of the supplies and smiling for the camera. Let's be honest, he's been hiding for 20 years. I don't think he would just be out in plain sight like that. Artists have replicated his artwork for many years and there is still no confirmation. Robin Gunningham has denied that he is the artist, so until there is evidence, the mystery continues.
At number 10, we have Allison Williams. Many reports started to circulate that actress Allison Williams was welcoming a baby boy, Arlo, back last winter, with her and her boyfriend, Alexander Draymond, being spotted with the baby on vacation with their family at a private resort in the Bahamas. According to a source, the parents seemed to be very happy and very much in love. It's also said Allison was spotted wearing an engagement ring. However, reps of the two actors, as well as Allison and Alexander, have declined to comment. The two initially met when filming the 2020 thriller Horizon Line, but have been together since the end of 2019. Now, both have pretty private lives and keep it pretty private, so it came to no surprise that they would hide the birth of their child till it was born, and they were happy to keep the news just with their small circle of family and friends. At number 9, we have Jamie Chung. Although Jamie has been pretty open in the past about her fertility journey, revealing in 2019 that she made the decision to freeze her eggs, Jamie and Brian Green were able to keep their baby news a secret until announcing the arrival of their twins in October of 2021. The couple chose to hide their decision due to the stigma surrounding surrogacy. Jamie would sit down in an interview and say it's not a very common thing and they weren't ready for the judgment. They really just wanted to protect themselves and announce things when they were ready to do so. Jamie chose to go this route mainly because she didn't want to lose opportunities and she didn't want to be resentful after working so hard to get to where she is today. However, the star is doing great and she's definitely showing all of us that she's an amazing mother. Are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And number 8, we have Sophie Turner. In July of 2020, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner welcomed their first child into the world. The couple was definitely delighted to announce the birth of their baby girl and would have their representatives confirm with people after they were ready to announce the birth of their child. Though some did guess Sophie was pregnant when she started cradling her stomach one day, the couple never addressed the speculation until after the birth of their daughter. 2 months after her birth, Sophie would then share a sweet, never-seen-before photo of her baby bump, and we were definitely all here for it. At number 7, we have Iggy Azalea. After months of staying out of the spotlight, rapper Iggy Azalea surprised fans with a major announcement back in June of 2020 when she wrote on her Instagram story that she had a son. The star went on to say, "I kept waiting for the right time to say something, but it feels like the more time passes, the more I realize I'm going to feel anxious to share the news that's giant with the world." Iggy would then also add that she wanted to keep her son's life private but didn't want him to be a secret. Iggy welcomed her son Onyx with her ex-boyfriend Playboy Cardi, and since the two have split and they have gone on to be amazing co-parents to the little one. At number 6, we have Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson shared some special news in a sweet Instagram post on Monday. The actor, with an adorable photo, said, "I'm beyond proud to announce the birth of my first child, Royce Lillian. Born this past week via surrogate. I can't describe the love I have for her. She's a beautiful miracle." The star then went on to thank everybody who was involved surrounding the birth of her child, and she would also highlight that this has been in the making for years. But she wanted to thank her gorgeous surrogate who carried and birthed her child with such grace and care. Rebel then went on to say, "Thank you for helping me start my own family. It's an amazing gift, the best gift, and I'm ready to give the little one, Royce, all the love imaginable." Rebel is definitely proud to be part of the mom club now, and well, congratulations Rebel on the birth of your baby girl. You're definitely going to be an amazing mom, and Royce is definitely lucky to have you.
Number 5, Orlando Bloom, Miranda Kerr, and Justin Bieber. Now, this one is really strange. Orlando and Miranda were married from 2010 to 2013 and even share a son together, Flynn, who was born in January of 2011. Things were going really well for the couple when rumors swirled about a hookup between Miranda and Justin Bieber at a 2012 Victoria's Secret after party. And coincidentally, the pair filed for divorce in 2013. While at a restaurant in Ibiza, Bloom and Bieber bumped into each other and the pop star made some crude comments about Miranda from across the restaurant. Bloom stormed over and punched him just before the singer was surrounded by bodyguards and appeared to cower away from the confrontation. Bieber then took to Instagram to post a photo of Bloom wiping his eyes, trying to insinuate that he lost the fight. Everything escalated so quickly and egos were being bruised left and right. Safe to say, this whole thing was one big heated mess. Number 4, Bella Hadid, The Weeknd, and Selena Gomez. Arguably one of the biggest love triangles of the 2010s, Bella Hadid, The Weeknd, and Selena Gomez's saga isn't one we're likely to forget anytime soon. After dating for 18 months, Hadid and The Weeknd split up in November 2016. Just 2 months later, the singer was photographed making out with Selena Gomez, and both Hadid and Gomez unfollowed each other, with the act sparking something of an on-again, off-again Instagram feud between them. About a year later, their relationship came to an end, and Gomez was seen kissing her former flame, Justin Bieber, shortly afterwards. Number 3, Dua Lipa, FKA Twigs, and Aaron Piper. Dua Lipa shocked fans as she found herself caught up in a love triangle with Netflix star Aaron Piper and fellow singer FKA Twigs. Dua and Aaron first started dating in 2013, but by 2019, their on-again, off-again romance was over for good. The British singer and the model pulled the plug on their 2-year relationship despite doing everything from crisis talks to taking a break to try to salvage it. In between a period of reconciliation, the singer was captured with Aaron in a nightclub nightclub while in Madrid. However, things got a little messy when fellow singer FKA Twigs shared a video to her TikTok page of her making out with Aaron just one day later, leaving fans completely puzzled. In a TikTok video to promote her new song Killer, the pair were seen entwined and enraptured with each other. Taking to Twitter, fans expressed their shock at the messy situation. And while neither Dua or Aaron have spoken about the videos, the pair could easily just be friends having a good night out together. Number 2. John Mulaney, Olivia Munn, and Anne-Marie Tendler. In early September, amid questions about the timeline of John Mulaney's romance with Olivia Munn, the comedian's ex-wife Anne-Marie Tendler reportedly knew that he was doing things with other women before he went to rehab, and before they ended their marriage in 2020. It wasn't entirely clear when his relationship with Olivia started, but it appeared that John was going to great lengths to dispute the idea that he cheated. Anne-Marie divorced from comedian Mulaney after 6 years of marriage. In a statement at the time, the artist said, quote, "I am heartbroken that John has decided to end our marriage. I wish him support and success as he continues his recovery." 1 week later, the news broke that Mulaney had started dating actress Olivia Munn, and less than 2 months later, it was confirmed that Munn was pregnant with her and Mulaney's first child. Whether or not there was any overlap between the two women is still very uncertain. And coming in at number 1, get ready for it, Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, and Joshua Bassett. It seemed like the internet exploded when Olivia released her number 1 single, Driver's License, and fans were quick to connect it to her High School Musical, The Musical co-star Joshua Bassett. The heartbreaking, emotional roller coaster of a song talks about the love triangle between herself, Joshua, and Sabrina Carpenter. As the lyrics implied, she was mourning a breakup that had a huge effect on her, and things got super intense when fans discovered Joshua was dating Sabrina because of the not-so-subtle reference in her song where Rodrigo mentioned a blonde girl who was much older than her. It was then that people jumped on the hate train against Sabrina, calling her a homewrecker and just about every insult under the sun. To make matters worse, Sabrina released a song called Skin to defend herself from Rodrigo's claims and tell her side of the story. Unfortunately, that didn't go down well with fans, and it only served to create more drama in the triangle.
At number 10, we have Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt had several odd jobs before he made it as an actor. While Chris spent some of his time living in a van in Hawaii, the star could be found working as a babysitter, a server, lawnmower, and he was also a stripper. Chris would tell BuzzFeed in 2013 that being a stripper allowed him to be free and to make money while he was doing it, and he was never embarrassed about being one. After all, he did get his job at the age of 18 after he auditioned to become one. He also revealed that he even stripped at a grandmother's birthday party for $40 back in the day, and while the star has gone to call himself an average dancer, the grandmother definitely appreciated the gesture. At number 9, we have Channing Tatum. Now, fans of Channing Tatum are aware that the actor was an exotic dancer before he starred in movies like 21 Jump Street and Step Up. Before Channing rose to fame, he used to perform at a strip club in Tampa, Florida. A video sold to US Weekly in 2009 showed Channing dancing for guests who were clearly pleased. In 2011, Channing would sit down in an interview with GQ, and he would explain that he was never ashamed, nor did he regret one thing about being a stripper back in the day. He also states that he doesn't miss anything about stripping. The star would strip in front of 25 girls and said there was nothing glamorous about it whatsoever. However, Magic Mike would definitely prove otherwise. Are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And number 8, we have Courtney Love. Courtney Love earned her success as a solo artist as a lead singer and guitarist in the 90s rock band Hole. Aside from being married to Kurt Cobain, Courtney was popular for releasing hits such as Malibu. However, while most know Courtney for her hit singles, many don't know that Courtney used to work at Jumbo's and Seventh Veil as an exotic dancer. The singer used to make around $300 a day, and she would be able to use her earned money to help her fund her band. However, the singer has stated that due to low income, that she did have to be extremely financially savvy before she was able to make it as an artist. At number 7, we have Cardi B. Now, if you search Cardi B on the internet, it will give you endless results about her career and how she started. However, it's clear that this star is definitely living her best life, and we're all here for it. Her hit song, Bodak Yellow, definitely didn't make it a secret that she was actually a stripper before she decided to change her career path to become a musician she is today. At the age of 18, after losing her job, the star decided to become an exotic dancer after the person firing her told her to do so. When she started, she knew she was going to make money and that the career was going to pay more than any other. The star would then quit dancing by the time she was 23 and would then become a global icon in rapping. And number 6 today we have Azealia Banks. Rapper, singer, actress, and writer Azealia Banks began her career on MySpace back in 2008. Later that year, she would be signed to XL Recordings when she was just 18 years old. However, her breakthrough wouldn't come until 2011. And her single 212 would break the internet and enter several international charts. However, before she started her music career, Azealia actually used to work at the strip club. Azealia even said that she used to work at the strip club and it was her lowest point, but she needed money fast and she felt like she was such a chicken in the strip club. And it wasn't her thing at all, and she was actually only there for 2 weekends and then quit because her song 212 blew up.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Daft Punk, the electronic music duo that everyone has loved to try and identify. While the creators themselves have been identified as Guy Manuel Christo and Thomas Bangalter. The two of them formed Daft Punk in Paris back in 1993, and for years people have typed their names into Google trying to uncover pictures of who they really are. They perform behind big robot heads and wear gloves while performing their music on stage. Even when they are off stage and doing interviews, they remain wearing masks or do the interview with their backs to the camera, creating a sense of mystery for their fans. During an interview with the Rolling Stone, they explained, and I quote, "It creates the line between fiction and reality, creating these fictional personas that exist in real life. I don't have many people constantly coming up to me reminding me what I do." Photos of the duo from the 90s have surfaced online, but media outlets are still trying to hunt down and get that recent award-winning photo of them unmasked. At number 9 is Sia. She sings the mega hit Chandelier but has also written countless songs for big stars like Beyonce, Britney Spears, and Carly Rae Jepsen. Although she's known worldwide for her incredible music, she's also known for her wigs. For years, Sia has worn big blonde wigs that completely cover her face, and not just as a costume piece. She genuinely wanted to hide her identity. She has been open about her reasoning and says it has everything to do with hiding from the media. During an interview, she said, "I don't want to be critiqued about the way I look on the internet. I've been writing pop songs for pop stars now for a couple of years and I've become friends with them and see what their life is like, and that's not something I want." She was very successful at hiding her image and was able to enjoy things as simple as grocery shopping because people wouldn't even know that it was her walking through the grocery store. In more recent years, however, she has showed up to a few events without a wig, but overall still keeps a very low profile. Coming in at number 8 is Gorillaz. The band doesn't wear masks or disguises like some people on our list. Instead, they turn themselves into animated characters. The band produces a mix of pop, electric, and rap and features digitally animated characters on stage. Seeing the Gorillaz in concert means you are jamming out to a giant screen with their characters on the screen while the real musicians perform behind it. The musical project began back in 1998, and a comic book artist named Jamie Hewlett helped design their characters, Noodle, Russell, Murdoch, and 2D. The idea behind the band was that the lead singer, Damon Albarn, was able to escape from fame and facial recognition. During an interview, he said, "One of the things that really got to us was the nature of celebrity and the cynicism of popular culture. Over the years, they have collaborated with big artists like Danger Mouse and Snoop Dogg, but still like to avoid any extra attention from fans." Sliding into the number 7 spot is Slipknot. The heavy metal band has always been known to hide their identities of their band members by wearing a variety of different masks and costumes. The reason for it is to drive public attention away from themselves and onto their music, so I guess you could say it's like a business tactic? The vocalist of the group commented during an interview saying, "It's our way of becoming more intimate with the music." The idea of covering their face was apparently brought up by one of the group members who would often just bring masks to their rehearsals. They continued to talk about the idea and develop it further, which soon led to them having matching costumes as their stage image. For many years they managed to keep their faces hidden from the public, but over the years their names were identified, making it easier to track down those images. More recently, a new member of the band was added, and people are going nuts trying to identify who it could be. So if you do, let me know in the comments because I want to know who it is. And at number 6 is Mike Candies. It's a very common thing for famous DJs to wear masks when they perform, so this one isn't all that surprising. Mike Candies is a music producer and DJ who originally came from Switzerland. He gained a lot of popularity with his remixes and was on the European top charts for a long time. But before everyone knew who he was one of the people who used a mask to hide his face. Out of all masks he could think of, he ended up going with a giant yellow smiley face helmet, basically making him look like a walking emoji. The DJ's real name is Michael Call, and he now posts pictures of himself totally unmasked. Mike said he came up with the mask because he didn't just want to create music, but wants to put on an entire show together. He claims that his helmet helps him while performing and is also entertaining for the audience. Apparently the first mask idea he had was going to be a dragon head, but he decided to simplify everything and came up with a smiling emoji.
We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Jodie Foster. Now, this one is very, very creepy. Mainly because when it happened, Jodie was only 14. So if you didn't know, Jodie got her breakout role in the 1976 film Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. Great film. In the film, she plays a young escort. And a man named John Hinckley Jr. became obsessed with her. He apparently would watch the film on a continuous loop. For years, he was stalking her. He would send her letters and poems to her professing his love for her. In fact, he thought he would impress her by assassinating Ronald Reagan. He actually tried doing so, but he failed. And in the end, he said that if he had known that he never had a chance with Jodie, he wouldn't have tried to assassinate the president in the first place. Moving on to number 4, we have Gigi Hadid. In 2015, a man named Marcel Porter tried to break into Gigi's New York apartment. Not just one time though. He tried to do this 5 times. Not only that, but he would leave creepy messages for her on her Facebook page. He said things like, "I love you, I know everything now, wait for me, soulmate." And Gigi, I'm at the hotel in Queens trying to find the gym that you went to while working. He also would comment on her outfit she wore so that you knew he was spying on her that day. Like in one post, he said, "Love you with the purple pants and shades, my soulmate. Tell your friends I say hi, especially Taylor." Creepy. In 2017, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Coming in at number 3, we have Kylie Jenner. Pretty sure all the Kardashian sisters have had a scary stalker situation in their life. In 2016, Kylie Jenner had a terrifying stalker situation. A man named Marvin McGollins repeatedly tried to break into Kylie's house. He even rammed his car into her front gate to try and knock it down. He did this on 2 separate occasions. Then later, he turned himself in for the unsolved murder of a man, and police later connected him to the unsolved murder of another man. He was arrested for both crimes. Kylie's lucky that it didn't end badly for her. She was literally being stalked by a cold-blooded killer. I should also note that the men he killed were both homeless and that he was unprovoked, so he just did it just cuz. In our second spot today, we have Ashley Tisdale. In 2013, Ashley Tisdale was being stalked by a man named Nicholas Floor. Floor was obsessed with her and had threatened to shoot her and her then boyfriend. When exploring his Twitter, there were thousands of creepy tweets directed towards Ashley. Let's take a look at them. He said, and I quote, "You'll be able to look in my eyes and know exactly what I want to say without even saying it." Another tweet read, "My body is yours, and even as friends, I effing love how I make you feel like mom. Maybe we both got issues because nobody's perfect." And another read, "Your future, Miss Floor, and I'll be your sweet stuff, little mama. You're such a good girl, you only pretend to be bad for me." So not only was he creepy online, but he was also creepy in person too. One time, he disguised himself as a delivery man to try and gain access to her home. He was later sentenced to a year in jail and a year of outpatient counseling. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Keira Knightley. Now this has to be one of the strangest stalker encounters out there. In 2016, Keira Knightley was faced with a stalker who would frequently visit her London home. When there, he would write notes in chalk on her door. He even once left a USB at her house with cat-themed music on it. After Keira reported it to the police, things got even weirder. One night, she woke up to him standing outside of her door, meowing into the letterbox. It ended with her husband chasing him until he left the property. The stalker, Mark Revel, was arrested and sent to a psychiatric hospital in 2017.
Number 10. Scott Disick, Kourtney Kardashian, and Sophia Richie. Scott and Kourtney's decade-long romance was very well documented on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and although fans loved Scott's quick-witted, snarky humor, it was obvious that he had some trouble remaining committed to Kourtney. The couple were on and off again for years and had 3 kids together, Mason, Penelope, and Rain. But around 2015, it was done for good, and Scott moved on with a much younger Sophia. But the whole family was against them, including Kendall, who commented some shady stuff about them on an IG post, and even Sophia's dad, Lionel Richie. Despite this drama, they stayed together for nearly 3 years, and she was even on the show at one point. It was an awkward mess because Scott was still co-parenting with Courtney, all while dating Sophia, who was only 18 at the time and had been a family friend for years. Fans thought the whole thing came off as kinda creepy. Number 9. Ed Sheeran, Ellie Goulding, and Niall Horan. This love triangle is a total whirlwind and was extremely chaotic at the time. Ellie and Ed went from casually dating to almost being a certified couple in 2013. But upon meeting Niall, Ellie was allegedly so taken with the One Direction singer that she ended up cheating on Ed. They managed to keep everything quiet until Ed released his 2014 single, Don't, which accused Ellie of that exact thing. Fans were very quick to put the pieces together, especially because the lyrics take a deep dive into the whole story, even describing the moment where Ellie admitted to sleeping with Niall and started begging Ed for forgiveness, and how he never saw it coming because he didn't perceive Niall as a threat. Later in interviews, Ed said the song was about a time when someone he was seeing hooked up with one of his friends when they were all staying in the same hotel. Although no names were mentioned, fans were easily able to put the pieces together and realize just how crazy this story was. Number 8. Pete Davidson, Ariana Grande, and Cassie David. Pete and Cassie dated for 2 years from 2016 to 2018. The SNL star and actress, who just happened to be Larry David's daughter, seemed like a great match and a cute couple until Pete got engaged to Ariana exactly a month after his breakup with Cassie. Now, the timing is a bit suspicious, with the quick engagement taking everyone by surprise, including Cassie herself. To make matters worse, the romance between Pete and Ariana was very public and became the most talked about celebrity couple of the summer 2018, melting hearts worldwide with their adorable social media love fest. Pete and Ariana split after a while, with Ariana releasing Thank You Next in 2019 to document the breakup and her commitment to herself. While no words regarding the timeline were exchanged in any public forum, it was assumed that things got a little messy behind the scenes of this love triangle. Number 7. Taylor Swift, Calvin Harris, and Tom Hiddleston. Taylor and Calvin were the golden Pinterest couple in 2015 and seemed to be the perfect pairing as soon as they got together. But all that fell apart just after they celebrated their 1-year anniversary, when Taylor was seen dancing with Tom at the 2016 Met Gala. Soon after, photos were posted of Taylor and Tom kissing in Rhode Island, which shocked the Swiftie fandom. They traveled to Rome and partied together at Taylor's 4th of July party. But things got really messy when Calvin released a song that implied Taylor cheated on him, and then Taylor called him out for not giving her credit on a song that they co-wrote together called This Is What You Came For. Things got even more dramatic when Taylor's 2017 album Reputation came out and featured a song called Getaway Car, which basically says that Tom was her escape route from Calvin. Yikes. Number 6. Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt, and Angelina Jolie. Jen and Brad got married in 2000 in a lavish Malibu wedding, and things were perfect for the Hollywood it couple until they decided to announce their divorce in 2005. In walks Angelina, who met Brad for the first time on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The movie was filled with romantic tension, and it's easy to see how Brad fell in love with Angelina, but the problem was that he was still married to Jen. They allegedly still got together despite his marriage because, hey, don't let your wife stop you from finding the love of your life, or so the saying goes. But interestingly enough, Brad and Angelina's relationship wasn't just a fling, and they actually went on to date for many years and had a large family before finally getting married in 2014. The love triangle was one of the biggest scandals in the early 2000s and still dominates the tabloids to this day. Number 5. Mike Tyson. The heavyweight champion made more than $700 million from his boxing fights alone and was one of the highest paid athletes of all time. At his peak, his net worth was estimated to be more than $340 million. So what happened? Well, the New York Times described Tyson's bankruptcy as a lesson in ways to squander a fortune. So you can pretty much guess. The boxer spent his wealth on cars, jewelry, mansions, and also paid for some unusual services. In fact, in 1996, he paid a camp aide named Crocodile $300,000 to dress in fatigues and repeatedly shout guerrilla warfare at his news conferences. Tyson also paid $2 million for a golden bathtub and 3 Bengal tigers, which reportedly cost him $71,000 per tiger, and a further $70,000 on their maintenance and diet. He even had to hire hire an animal trainer that cost him $125,000. As a result, Tyson fell deeply into debt despite his immense earnings and was forced to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2003, reporting that he was a whopping $38.4 million in debt before returning to jail and checking into rehab. His net worth is now a fraction of what it used to be at around $10 million, but he's managed to reach financial stability again and seems to be doing well for himself. Number 4. Toni Braxton. The R&B singer has been making hits since the 90s and is mostly known for love songs and songs about heartache. But Toni Braxton is also very well known for her immense financial troubles over the years. After selling 15 million copies of her second album in 1996, fans were confused when she filed for bankruptcy, claiming that she had an astounding $50 million in debt. Everyone was confused because at the time of the filing, she had sold out world tours and millions of albums. Well, it turns out that she was suing her record label to terminate her recording contract because she was only receiving 33 cents per album, making it impossible for her to make money from album sales. Her career continued to soar after her messy legal battle, and she eventually became the headlining act of the Flamingo Hotel's casino, which seemed to be going great until it wasn't. The singer collapsed on stage during a show in 2007 and was hospitalized immediately after. She told ABC News in 2012, quote, "The Vegas show, I just renewed my contracts with all my vendors, and then a month later I got sick. I couldn't work and could not afford to pay them back." She was forced to file for bankruptcy a second time, but has since been able to turn her situation around by starring in her own reality TV show, Braxton Family Values. Number 3. Sydney Sweeney. At 24 years old, the Euphoria actress scored her first 2 Emmy nominations for roles in not one but 2 acclaimed HBO series. She has also started her own production company, 50/50 Films, and in the past year worked as an ambassador for many high fashion brands. But Sweeney recently revealed in a Hollywood Reporter interview that she still feels the financial pressure of paying her monthly bills, admitting that she was worried if she took a break from work, there would be no money and no support for any potential children that she would have. Quote, "If I wanted to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. I don't have someone supporting me. I don't have anyone I can turn to pay my bills or call for help." Although she's doing incredibly well for her age and her net worth is reportedly around $5 million, she claimed that actors don't get paid like they used to, and explained why she's experiencing financial strain. Among other reasons, Sweeney says that streaming sites don't provide residuals and claimed that paying her publicist every month costs more than her mortgage. She admitted that if I just acted, I wouldn't be able to afford my life in LA. And she also said that she takes several deals because she has to, so it seems that even working actors can wind up broke. Number 2. Amber Heard. The actress is known for her roles in several films, including the DC Comics Aquaman movie, but these days her name is synonymous with her now ex-husband Johnny Depp. Despite appearing in DC's Aquaman and making around $1 million, which is her highest paid role to date, Heard's total net worth is estimated to be minus $6 million. Why? Well, it's safe to say that she faced financial trouble after the highly publicized defamation trial brought against her by her ex-husband. But her situation has been looking much worse post-verdict. The actress was ordered to pay Depp $10 million in compensation and $5 million in punitive damages after a jury said that she defamed him. The judge later capped the damages at the Virginia maximum of $350,000, minus the $2 million that Depp was ordered to pay Heard, which means she owes him a total of $8.35 million. But the issue is that she has a reported net worth of only $3.5 million, making her officially broke. And if you thought things couldn't get any more downhill, she's unable to file for bankruptcy to wipe away the charges. This might have otherwise been an option for her, but the award is not dischargeable because punitive damages are never deductible or dischargeable. So there's no doubting the fact that she is broke. Number 1. Aaron Carter. You'd think earning millions of dollars before you turn 18 would set you up for an early retirement, but that never seems to be the case with child stars. Aaron Carter became a star in his own right very early on, reportedly amassing an estimated net worth of millions of dollars. He told Oprah, quote, "I made over $200 million in my career before I even turned 18 years old." As a result of his fame and fortune, his family lived very well on a massive compound with 12 houses on it, which Carter claims was worth over $10 million. But as a teen, he started getting into trouble with the law, which totally ruined his wholesome reputation and eventually affected his ability to make records. Quote, "Labels were like, 'We don't want to touch you. You're dead and gone. There's no more Aaron Carter.'" The star said he tried to rebuild his image when he realized the consequences of his actions, but it was too late. By the time he was 18, Aaron was already broke and had to declare bankruptcy in 2013 with $2 million of debt. At the time, he was left with only $917 in his checking account. He's managed to get back on track somewhat since then, and the now 34-year-old has a net worth of $400,000, but he would need a real career comeback fact, to even attempt to regain his wealth. Number 5. Secret third child. Not everyone knows that Will actually has a third child from his first marriage to Cherie Zampino. Trey Smith, who is now 29 years old, mostly lived with his mother following his parents' divorce in 1995, and so that's why he's still relatively unknown. But Trey has actually struggled quite a bit compared to his half-siblings. In a 2018 Instagram post, Trey said that he felt betrayed and abandoned for a long time after his parents' divorce, and even Will admitted that he and his eldest child struggled for years to develop a good father-son relationship because he basically made a whole new family and moved on without Trey. The truth is, his father's total absence from his day-to-day life was quite hard on him growing up, and Will has also said that he regrets how neglected Trey felt. In fact, they have only recently been back on good terms, and the actor said that he and his firstborn son have slowly started growing and healing, overcoming their past trauma, even posting on Instagram in 2018, quote, "It is a wild blessing to recover and restore a loving relationship with my beautiful son." Number 4. How they met. The couple often paint their love story as one for the ages, but they definitely tried to gloss over the fact that their relationship began when Will was technically married to his first wife, Cherie. In fact, Jada let this information slip voluntarily in a 2018 interview with Access, admitting that when Will first reached out to her, he wasn't exactly fully free to do so. Quote, "He was just separated," and then went on to say that the divorce had not even happened yet. The couple has maintained that they weren't physically involved until the divorce was finalized, but many fans believe Will's heart had certainly strayed well before he made any move to end things with Cherie. During a sit-down interview on Red Table Talk, Will actually said that at a certain point in his first marriage, quote, "I had a realization that I wasn't with the person I was supposed to be with," but maintained that he didn't want to get divorced. He kind of admitted that instead of being honest with his wife right away, he just lost feelings for her and kept it private. But in the end, his ex-wife was the bigger person and ended up asking for the divorce, which allowed him to publicly date Jada right after the papers were signed. Number 3. Nepotism. The Smith family are undeniably a very tight-knit unit, collaborating on so many projects together throughout their careers. Some critics have accused the patriarch of nepotism, and they may have a point. It's pretty easy to see why. Just glancing through Jaden Smith's IMDb page, you can actually see that most of the movies he starred in were produced by one of his parents. The accusations were so intense that in Will's memoir, he opened up about casting The Pursuit of Happiness, saying that the studio actually didn't want to cast Jaden because it would seem like nepotism, and that would just ruin the credibility of the film from the get-go. But even though the studio was hesitant, the concerns didn't keep the Smiths from pushing for Jaden to get the part, and eventually they had their way. Don't get me wrong, the movie was great, but fans could not ignore the clear favoritism that was happening behind the scenes. Many people even called out his acting abilities in After Earth, which completely bombed at the box office, and Will even called it the most painful failure of his career. Number 2. Open marriages. Will and Jada have been shutting down rumors for literally decades, from claims that they're in an open relationship and speculation that they're swingers, to reports that Jada even cheated on Will with Mark Anthony. During an interview with GQ in 2021, Smith finally revealed that he and his wife haven't always been monogamous. Quote, "Jada never believed in conventional marriage," and went on to say that Jada had family members that had an unconventional relationship. So she grew up in a way that was very different to how he grew up. He hinted that both parties had taken advantage of the trust and freedom in their relationship in their own way. Will admitted that for a large part of their relationship, monogamy was what they chose, but it's clear that somewhere down the line they decided to stray from that traditional dynamic. In fact, Will was rumored to be hooking up with Margot Robbie on the set of their film Focus in 2013, after photos were leaked of the pair joking around and getting very close in front of the camera in a photo booth. But Margot was quick to deny everything on Twitter. Quote, "There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous matter. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context." Well, people really do jump to conclusions. And coming in at number 1, ties to Scientology. While the couple have never confirmed their religious affiliation, the Smith family has long been rumored to be members of the controversial Church of Scientology. Smith told Men's Vogue in May 2011, quote, "I've studied Buddhism and Hinduism, and I've studied Scientology with Tom Cruise, and nobody's saying anything different." His comments obviously earned a great deal of backlash, especially when he claimed 98% of the principles are identical to the principles in the Bible. But then in October 2018, he declared that his family have never been Scientologists. To confuse matters even more, many of the Smiths' movies reportedly contain Scientology references and themes. In 2013, Vulture even called his sci-fi flick, After Earth, that he did with Jaden, a love letter to Scientology. Not to mention the fact that in 2007, Will and Jada donated over $122,000 to the church. The truth is, we may never know whether the family are members of the religious movement or not, but the fact that the famous family hasn't condemned Scientology is already a major problem for some fans, especially as more and more disturbing allegations are continuing to come out about the church in recent years.
Starting off this countdown, we have Taylor Swift. Over the years, Taylor Swift has had to deal with a number of stalkers. One scary experience happened to her in 2015 by an obsessed fan named Frank Edward Hoover. It started with him sending Swift's father disturbing letters saying that he was going to kill their entire family. He said, and I quote, "I'm going to end all the Swifts one day because I can't stand that virus shit your daughter spreads." He said that he was the real son of God and that the Swift family was an evil family of devils. In 2016, he was arrested after following Taylor Swift and her family from her concert to the airport. He then approached Taylor and said that he needs to accompany her wherever she goes. Even restraining orders couldn't keep him back. In the end, he was sentenced to 10 years of probation. Sadly, Taylor has received a number of threatening emails and letters from obsessed fans. One Texan man was actually arrested after writing to Taylor that he was going to take advantage of her and then kill her. Moving on, at number 9, we have Beyonce. Back in 2009, Beyonce received threatening letters from a man who was convinced that the real Beyonce was dead and was now replaced by an imposter one. This imposter one was the one that killed the real Beyonce. It's crazy, I know. So he was threatening Beyonce, being like, "You killed the real Queen Bee. I'm gonna come for you." He then sent her a book full of notes on religion because he thought that it would help her. In 2013, she actually had to amp up her security game for her concert in London as this man was going to be there. He sent emails threatening her, saying that he was going to be there and was going to sneak past security and get to her. In the end, she filed and won an anti-harassment order. Moving on to number 8, we have Justin Timberlake. In 2009, a woman named Karen McNeil showed up at Justin Timberlake's home claiming to be God. That's not all though. She said that she was destined to rule the world with Justin by her side. And as you can imagine, Justin was very creeped out by this. Not only that, but she showed up in a taxi at Justin's house with all her belongings in the car, as if she was just ready to move in with him. In the end, Timberlake filed a restraining order against her, which resulted in her having a major freakout in court. In our 7th spot today, we have Lindsay Lohan, which, first of all, I have to say something. Lindsay recently posted a TikTok in which she says her name, and turns out it's pronounced Lohan, not Lohan. Like, we've been saying it wrong for years. My whole life is a lie. I've been pronouncing it Lindsay Lohan. It's Lohan. Anyways, okay, I'll get over it eventually. In 2011, Lindsay tweeted out a picture of a photo of a man that had been stalking and threatening her. She tweeted out, and I quote, "This is the Freemason stalker that has been threatening to kill me. While he is trespassing, I'm actually scared now. The blood in the cult book was too much." Sources at the time confirmed that Lindsay was indeed being stalked, but they didn't reveal much more information on it. Then in 2014, she was being harassed again, this time by a man named Daniel Vorder Woolbeck, who thought he was actually married to her. He called himself King Lionheart and believed the two had deep conversations on the daily, which he was just making up. Lindsay was so scared that she was actually scared to go outside. She was nervous and was constantly looking over her shoulder to make sure that she wasn't being followed. In the end, he was sent to prison for 12 weeks before being subjected to mental health treatments for 12 months. In our 6th spot today, we have Gwyneth Paltrow. In 2000, Gwyneth Paltrow had a fan constantly send her letters, flowers, and explicit material. Not only that, but he would continually show up at her parents' house and would lurk around her own home. The fan didn't think he was doing anything wrong in court, and he said, and I quote, "If a man gives a woman unconditional love, she is blessed."
But Gwyneth did not think the same way. She testified saying that she was being terrorized by him and was constantly having nightmares about her stalker and being harmed by him. In 2001, he spent 3 years in a mental health facility. When he got out, he went right back to his old ways. In 2016, he was back in court for, again, harassing Gwyneth and her family. This time, when Gwyneth testified against him, he said he was going to cut out sin from her body with a scalpel.
5. Theo James and Shailene Woodley. These are some names you may not be super familiar with unless you were a teen in the early 2010s. James and Woodley are the stars of the Divergent series, young adult films about a dystopian future where society is split into 5 factions, and one girl who does not fit into any one specific category. Woodley plays the leading lady, Tris Pryor, and Theo plays the leader of Dauntless named 4, aka Tobias. In the books, Tobias and Tris meet under strange circumstances and spark an intense romantic fuse. They then spend the next 2 movies running together from the faction elites. Playing a couple on set, though, seemed to have given the pair a brilliant idea as they began appearing closer and cuddlier as time went on. Many times in interviews for the second Divergent movie, the pair can be seen making cute comments and subtly flirting with each other, but sadly their fake love was not meant to last, as with the franchise coming to an end in 2016, so did their PR stunt. The couple maintained that the relationship actually never took place, but judging by the on-screen chemistry, that actually might be true. That might be true. Number 4. Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson. The singer and the lifeguard. Sounds like a cheesy sitcom, right? Well, that was the actual combo that took place when Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson began an on-again, off-again relationship in the early 2000s. At first only dating, on and off again, the couple were then engaged after a reunion in 2003. They would call it off one more time before they tied the knot officially in 2006, only to file for a divorce soon after that. The back and forth nature of their relationship is not uncommon in the world of Hollywood, with many high-tier couples breaking up and reconciling over and over again. But what is uncommon is that the couple were airing out every single bit of dirty laundry for the public to see, and soon speculation turned to truth, as it was uncovered by a Hollywood insider that the couple's troubled history and rocky road were merely an attempt to keep themselves relevant in today's media circus. The plan didn't work, as most of you watching this right now probably don't even care about these guys at all, and some of you might not even know who either of these people are. So if that's the case, please go find some good old seasons of Baywatch and prepare to be amazed. Number 3. Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. For those of you who may have forgotten, between the original Spider-Man trilogy starring Tobey Maguire and the newest trilogy of Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland, lived a little universe in which Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man, and Sony was his ruler. The Amazing Spider-Man franchise only pumped out 2 movies between 2012 and 2024. Garfield played Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, in the franchise, and fan favorite Emma Stone was cast to play his leading lady, Gwen Stacy. From day one on the set, the two were inseparable, spending every second of free time they had together and developing what can only imagine must have been a strong and long-lasting bond. However, these two getting together was just a little bit sus. People fall in love on set all the time, but this couldn't have been a more perfect setup if you tried. On-screen love interests who take up a majority of the film's runtime, with their undeniable chemistry shining through scene after scene, not to mention they're together in the movie for real, like you fall in love with Gwen Stacy. Anyways, this almost feels like an extreme form of method acting, because the couple were together for the entirety of the franchise, 4 years, only to call it quits a few months after the premiere of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They've maintained a strong friendship ever since, but we really do miss you guys. Come back, Gwen. Number 2. Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman. This PR stunt lasted for all of 2 weeks in 1998. Carmen, who was then popular for her skills as a singer as well as a gifted dancer, met the famous basketball player Dennis Rodman at a nightclub in Los Angeles. They exchanged numbers and Rodman bombarded Electra with phone calls after phone calls until she finally agreed to hang out. Classic move, Dennis, negging. They started seeing each other regularly, with Rodman once even clearing out the Chicago Bulls training center so that the two could have some fun together, uninterrupted, and anywhere their little hearts desired. They got married like most couples around the time did, in Las Vegas, baby! The two were married on November 14th, 1998, only to file an annulment 9 days later. Rodman claims to have not been in the right headspace when he agreed to the marriage, and the two haven't spoken to each other in years. Reporters and paparazzi were very skeptical about this move, as the couple's ups and downs had taken over the media circuit for months, causing Elektra to get her name out there more, which was super convenient seeing as she had just started building up her repertoire in the movie industry, starring in cult classic movies like Good Burger, as well as a recurring character on Baywatch. There's a good chance she would have made it on her own, but hey, it never hurts to publicly suffer first, right? Number 1. Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. Kris Humphries is a former basketball player, and Kim Kardashian is, well, Kim Kardashian. The reality star and basketball player began dating in 2010 after his New Jersey teammate Jordan Farmer introduced them in New York. Less than a year later, the couple were engaged and officially married at a beautiful summer wedding. Of course, all of this was front page on social media and news outlets, causing a massive buzz for both the couple and the reality show. But after just 72 days of marriage, Kardashian filed for a divorce, simply claiming they were not getting along at all. However, Kris has a different story. He simply wasn't following suit with the family's plans, claiming that Kim made him sign a prenuptial agreement before the wedding, granting her 100% of their earnings as a couple should they split. Kris filed his own annulment, claiming fraud and stating that the only reason she married him in the first place was for the TV ratings. And this was absolutely true, as proven with her immediate bounce back to Kanye West, as well as the couple's time on the show being some of the highest viewed episodes of season 6. While Kardashian knew the relationship wasn't going to work out, Kris didn't, and the entire thing was very real for him. So like, hey, Hollywood, chill out with the fake couples for a minute, you know?